Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Warren Canonigo, and you're watching the FYI sessions where Filipino learners can savor bite-sized English lessons with me, Teacher Warren, and of course, my buddies, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary and Princess Hall Grammar and Composition book by Gary Ferlini and co-authors. I also would like to say thank you to the people behind the website www.dailywritingtips.com. I'm going to start this session by asking you this question. Have you tried doing something for someone, like doing a favor or doing a representation? Have you tried that? Of course, I believe most people, if not all people, have at a certain point in their lives assisted someone or have done something good for someone who's close to them or someone who's familiar to them, someone who's significant to them. And I'm sure you already heard someone say this sentences or these lines. I'm so busy today. In fact, after running some errands, I would have to go to school to attend the PTA meeting on behalf of my brother. And then after you say that sentence, you would take a pause and then you would start to analyze if it would be best to use the phrase in behalf or on behalf. So that's what we will answer in this episode. When do you use in behalf of and when to use on behalf of? Or is there really a difference? Or if there is it subtle or major? Okay, that's what we will try to find out. Before we give you the answer to that question, let's first discuss about the pronunciation and the structure of the phrases. So, in behalf of and on behalf of are prepositional phrases. Why are they prepositional phrases? Because on behalf of and in behalf of are composed of prepositions. So there's a preposition on and there's a preposition in plus object of the preposition. What is the object of the preposition? Behalf. Behalf. Is it an object? Yes, it's an object because behalf is a noun which means interests, benefits, or support. And what's the his or the her or a name of a person before the or a pronoun before the object of the preposition behalf? Well, that is what you call as modifier in a form of a possessive pronoun or a possessive noun. Okay? Okay, let's do it once again. So, prepositional phrase is composed of a preposition plus the object of the preposition and its modifiers. In the case of in behalf, in is the preposition, behalf is the object of the preposition, and his is the modifier of the object of the preposition. And in behalf of, in is the preposition, behalf is the object of the preposition, and his is the modifier to the object of the preposition. And that is the explanation why on his behalf and in his behalf are prepositional phrases. Okay? And let's be careful with the pronunciation. Of course, the preposition in is pronounced as in because the first letter is I, represented by lowercase I, which is pronounced as I, in. And then on, the letter O is represented by the sound ah, ah. Remember the letter O with the diaresis? With the diaresis on top of it? The letter O, and it sounded as ah, like in the word law. Okay. That is the first letter of the word on. So that's why you say ah, ah, on. And then the same thing for the word of. The letter O is pronounced as ah, ah, and the letter F is pronounced as v, v. So you don't say of, because that will mean you're referring to the word of, O-F-F. There's only one F, and it's a preposition, so you say of. Okay, so let's go back to the parkland question. Are the prepositional phrases on his behalf and in his behalf the same in terms of usage? Okay. Based from my research, they are interchangeable. Whichever is most probably more comfortable for the user, or whichever would come to mind first. But, okay, there's a but in capital letters. There are users in English which believe that there is a nuance or a subtle difference between on his behalf and in his behalf. They asserted that you use on his behalf if you are implying representation, if the person is just representing another person. While you use in his behalf or on her behalf or on someone's behalf if you are implying an interest or a benefit that you do for that person. In other words, you use on behalf if in your sentence one of the subjects in your sentence is just representing. So the other person can definitely do it, but not in the meantime because of a prior commitment. While you do in his behalf if one of the subjects in your sentence have completed a task for the other person who is incapable. So it's not about representing that person, but it's about finishing something that that person could not in the meantime finish or comply or complete. Okay, I will give you an example. Let's say the vice mayor of the city is not available to deliver, for example, a commencement speech. So he asked his, let's say, one of the city councilors to read the speech during the graduation rites. So in that case, would you be able to use in his behalf and on his behalf? Now I understand the confusion why on his behalf and in his behalf are interchangeable, because there are situations wherein a person both represents and does something for the person. Like in the case of the vice mayor and the city councilor. The city councilor in that case then would represent the local city government, and at the same time will read the speech, will read the commencement speech for the vice mayor who will be attending, for example, to a also very important commitment. So in that case, you can definitely use in his behalf or on his behalf. But in cases when the person is just really representing, then definitely strictly you have to use on his behalf. For example, in an awards night, the presenter of a particular category, after announcing the name of the winner, would be the one to thank the assemblage, or would like to thank the audience on behalf of the winner who could not attend the awards night. So in that case, it's just on his behalf, because it's just thanking, it's just representing, okay, and nothing more, nothing else. Okay, in the case of in his behalf, I'll give you an example. let's say your mother is very sick on a Saturday morning. And usually, under normal circumstances, your mother will actually go to the public market to buy fresh produce, fruits, vegetables. And then, because of the current situation, you ended up going to the public market to do that stuff. So in that case, you can say, I went to the public market to buy fresh produce for the week in behalf of my mother. In that case, you're not really representing your mother because there's no program or ceremony. You are just filling in the task because your mother couldn't make it. You're doing a favor for your mother who couldn't actually make it to the market to buy the needs or the commodities or the food items. Okay, so it's now time for our quiz. So I will read 5 sentences, and then after reading, you can pause the video so that you can analyze the answers. Again, on his behalf and in his behalf are interchangeable. But for this quiz, let's just try to actually uh, get familiar with the stand of the other side, the ones who the ones who believed that there is a subtle difference or a nuance between the two prepositional phrases. Okay? Let's now read the sentences. My mother attended the PTA meeting blank my uncle's behalf. Verb 2. I finished writing the essay blank my sister's behalf. 3. Our class advisor was sick, so the substitute teacher discussed the new lesson blank her behalf. Number 4. I prepared the poached eggs blank Dylan's behalf because he found it hard to cook. 5. During the trial, the lawyer narrated the incident blank the client's behalf. Okay, please pause the video. Okay, so thank you very much for doing your best to answer the quiz. Remember that on the other side, in his behalf and on his behalf are the same. So if we just actually have to base the answers, then definitely there are no wrong answers. You can use either of those as long as you don't use both. You just have to use one. Okay, so the answers that I'm going to tell you are based from the point of the other group of users who believe that there is a difference. Okay, so number 1, my mother attended a PDA meeting on my uncle's behalf. Number 2, I finished writing the essay in my sister's behalf. Number 3, our class advisor was sick, so the substitute teacher discussed the new lesson in her behalf. Number 4, I prepared the poached eggs in Dylan's behalf because he found it hard to cook. 5, during the trial, the lawyer narrated the incidents on the client. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. And I'm so excited to see you next time. Bye.